Good morning, you bunch of drunks.
Good morning this morning. This is it's an old classic. Mike Ferguson may know this song. It's from our era.
Yeah.
They were a one-hit wonder. Space Hog.
Oh, yeah. See, I was,
Great name.
Yeah. I was into like the cheesy hairband rock so much.
Sure. So you're like Mark Cox.
Yes. Yeah, Mark and I have very similar. We've talked about this. Mark and I have very similar taste in music.
There you go. Yeah, Mark Cox is all Van Halen.
That's right.
You know, I love Van Halen too, but it's just funny. Everybody's got their different genres, you know. So Space Hog, their little mascot on their album cover was a little pig in an astronaut suit.
See, and I would have known this song, but I would have had no idea who the band was at all.
I know the song, but I would have not known Space Hog.
My wife, Suzanne, loves this song, too. It's great. We used to listen to this a lot. Yeah. The Space Hog. Yeah. Back in the day. Yeah. So, hello to Suzanne, by the way. She might be in the car right now.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, with Katie and Ann. Actually, my daughter, Katie, Katie gets up, except on days when I'm doing radio, she gets up at 5:45 in the morning.
Middle school's a rough schedule.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And then Abby gets to sleep in, but Abby's a night owl like her mom, you know, so they're up all night partying and doing whatever. Starting sleeping, yeah. So we got Mike Ferguson in studio. Mike, welcome to St. Louis.
Thank you much.
Welcome to Show Me Institute.
Yeah, loving it.
Twitter handle's at Show Me, right?
It is, yes.
At Show Me. And which one are you using these days? Are you using a Twitter handle yet?
Well, yeah, I mean, I do some stuff at Show Me, but there's all kinds of announcements coming on there. Mine's at M. Ferguson Media.
So at M. Ferguson Media or at Show Me, and Mike will see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys have an event tonight?
We do, out at SLU,
okay.
At the Cook School of Business. It's actually free if you want to go. We've got Dr. Kevin Murphy coming from the University of Chicago School of Economics. Of course, University of Chicago puts out some pretty good free market economists out there, one of the few places that do that. So we're going to let's talk about the left's talking points on what's wrong with our system, income inequality and fairness. So we're going to talk about it. He's going to do a presentation. So 5:30, we're at kind of a reception.
Plenty of time. It's in between the Cards and the Blues game, so you can go. And you can go at 5:30 and be done.
Precisely, yeah. He's got a presentation. It'll start at 6 and a Q&A and all that kind of stuff. But it's free. Register if you want to go. Just go to showmeinstitute.org. That way we know how many drinks and snacks and stuff like that. But yeah, that's free. It's out at SLU tonight.
Showmeinstitute.org. They've got an event tonight. And then Show Me has tons of events all the time. I've gone to a lot of them. I usually go to some of the breakfast meetings and stuff. You got some great legislative panels coming up, I know. You've got tons of stuff as the legislature winds up, but you've got lots of events. So showmeinstitute.org. So Mike, Trinity Lutheran, we've been focusing on this so much because it came from Missouri.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about it, and today is the argument. So tell me, what is interesting, Show Me, from their perspective about this case?
The interesting thing is not about the scrap tires involved. Right. What's involved here is something called a Blaine Amendment, and this is what you hear cited a lot of times in 38 different states, including Missouri, where you say, hey, you can't use any government money to touch anything that has a religious affiliation. And so essentially, this is what they're saying, because the way that the system worked with Department of Natural Resources is scrap tire program, trying to keep these tires out of the landfill. If you went and bought scrap tires for things like your playground or whatever the case is, you could get reimbursed through the state.
Right.
And the state said, nope, Trinity Lutheran can't do it, even though the application is one of the best ones that we have this year. We're not going to do it because you have a religious affiliation.
Any touch whatsoever. They've almost broadened this to a ridiculous extreme to the point where your Kansas City Star is looking fair and balanced these days. They wrote an editorial yesterday saying, yes, the court should side with Trinity Lutheran because it's religious discrimination.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. I was reading the Stars and the Post-Dispatch's editorials side by side, and they were completely opposite.
That'll make you dizzy.
They only agreed on one thing, is they didn't like what Governor Greitens did with his executive order, but that's a whole other thing.
Right.
But what it also comes down to is, if this case goes the way that we hope that it goes, that it should go, then you could open up the door to eliminate a lot of this Blaine Amendment discrimination. Because really, and I'm not Catholic. I think you are Catholic.
I am Catholic, yeah.
I'm not Catholic, but the Blaine Amendments came from outright anti-Catholic bigotry.
Absolutely, back in the 1800s.
Back in the 1800s, and we've got a great video report on this. Dr. Mike McShane did on it, which you can go to our Facebook and Twitter and everything and find that video. You can also go to like PJ Media and Atlas Network, and they've all picked it up. And if this case goes the way it could, you're also safeguarding not just preschools for stuff like this. If a church runs a food bank, a soup kitchen, a anything that serves the poor, anything that does public outreach. If you stick so strictly to the Blaine Amendment, you could be cutting off Habitat Humanity, you could be cutting off Meals on Wheels, you could be cutting off soup kitchens, you could be cutting off all of this, all in the name of we don't want social service organizations that happen to be religious getting any money.
It's
from
an
the
old,
government.
unfair, unjust law.
Right.
So we got about a minute and a half left, Mike.
Yeah.
I want to focus quickly on another issue that Show Me's looking at, and that's the exorbitant tax rates in St. Louis City. The Post-Dispatch, they wrote an article today about how, what new Mayor Ferguson needs to do is just set up a bunch of new government and offices of this and offices of that and offices of fairness and equality. And I'm like, you Democrats have been running the city for 45 years, and you haven't figured out equality yet. Your real problem is not more government. It's reducing the tax rate and the burden and the barriers like the city earnings tax. And so tell me what the tax rate is in some areas of the city now.
Now that we've gotten Prop 1 in, once that goes into effect, our tax rate is now higher. Sales tax rate higher than New York City.
That's insane.
Higher than Los Angeles. In some places, when you add on all the local special taxing districts, it can be upwards of 13.5% if you throw in like a restaurant tax too.
And none other than a Post-Dispatch reporter actually tweeted out a picture of his receipt recently to show that. So that is the problem in the city.
Here's what it means, because you may say it's a 5 cent thing. If you have the median income in St. Louis, Prop 1 alone cost you an extra $175 a year.
Unbelievable. At Show Me, at M. Ferguson, at Mike Ferguson Media. Thanks so much, Mike. We'll see you here on Friday.
I get to say good morning this morning on Friday.
That's right. We'll be back with more. Keep it right here at Show Me for more info.